Here's your Double Dare host, Mark Summers.
Wow, nice crowd. Thank you. Thanks, Harvey. Thank you, audience. Welcome to Double Dare. This is the show where we run through a crazy obstacle course and in the process win 8 fabulous prizes.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Oh, joy!
Let's rock.
It makes me wanna fart!
Dear Journal, it's me, Doug.
You have it!
Baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do.
That was a hoot!
On your mark. Get set.
Oh, here it goes!
Welcome to Splat Attack, where we're taking it back to the slime-filled past. I'm your Gaktastic co-host, Brett.
And I am your slime-tastic co-host, Alex. And Brett, we got a full house this evening.
We do. We have 3 lovely guests joining us tonight for our special topic, which happens to be Sloppiest Double Dare Moments. I mean, man, Double Dare, 36 years of history with Nickelodeon. Can you imagine like all the fun, all the slimy, messy, gooey, goopy, slippery, slidey moments that we're going to try and recall for all of our slimesters and gakoids who are out there?
And that's a rich history.
Yeah.
And of course, because we had the lovely Jasmin join us for our What Would You Do 30th anniversary episode. So we had to have her back. So hello, Jasmin.
Welcome back.
Hello. Hi everyone. And it's always an honor to be with you guys. It's always fun. So I appreciate you having me back.
And if we're doing Double Dare, we've got to have not just one, but the 1-2 punch of both Marc and Robin. So thank you both so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting us. And, Jasmin may be the #1 fan of all time. I just have a feeling.
She definitely keeps the spirit alive.
Now that is true. That is true.
We do not disagree.
I appreciate that, especially coming from Marc and Robin. I really greatly appreciate that.
Thank you, Jasmin.
When we did our last tour, she was like a groupie. Like every audience we went to,
everywhere we went, Jasmin.
Next time she shows up, you'll have to make her schlep equipment, like
there you go.
tank rounds for you.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, well, Brett, what are we talking about today, bub?
Well, as I mentioned before, we are talking about sloppiest Double Dare moments. You know, just any messy, slimy, memorable, anything that comes to mind from the show's history. I'm sure Robin and Marc have some lovely memories to share with us. And for you and me and Jasmin, we picked some of our favorite physical challenges and obstacle courses that come to mind. But before we dive into that, let's just give a little bit of intro for all of our listeners. So Double Dare is a nostalgic game show cornerstone responsible for being one of the flagship shows that put Nickelodeon on the map in October 6, 1986 as Nickelodeon's very first game show. Thanks to its messy, fun tone, ratings nearly tripled for the network viewership shortly after the show's release and has become a staple of the network ever since. The show has seen multiple iterations, including Super Sloppy, Family, 2000, Live, and the recent 2018 reboot, all filled with gack, slime, and any type of neon-colored goopy topping you can think of. It's even had special versions of their episodes, either featuring a theme such as Backwards Day, Stupid Hat Day, and even a Halloween special. And there's also been various celebrity guests on it, such as Kel Mitchell and Lou. I think Lou Ferrigno was one on the earliest Double Dare one, the first iteration.
So Weird Al, Lou Ferrigno did it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. When we did the latest version, we had Tiffany Haddish. We had we just had a lot of folks from the
Tons
WWE. Jason Sudeikis was on it. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. We've had some fun people.
The list is endless, and everyone loves to join in on the action because who doesn't want to be on a game show and just have lots of fun together? Like every time you tune into Double Dare, it's just a wild ride from beginning to the end, and every moment is gold. So I'm going to start with one of my picks that come to mind for sloppiest moments or instances. And
before you go into that, just for all of our listeners, we are doing just some fun sloppy moments. We're not going to go into the big history and a lot of detail stuff because that's been covered by a lot of other podcasters, and it's been done even better by the team who made Double Dare. They did was it the 35th or the 36th anniversary? Because they did a Facebook Live event and covered everything and had tons of people on it. And there's no way that we would have anything to add to that. So if you want to check that out, please do. It's still on their Facebook page. It's really, really well done. And
Josh Yawn produced that. He's another one of our big fans and has helped us throughout the years. And he did one hell of a job. He produced basically a 2-hour special that would be on TV, and he did it all sort of single-handedly.
Yes.
Basically booked all the talent, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
It was really well done. So go check that out. But as for this, it's just going to be a fun memory lane. So go ahead, Brett, kick it off with your first choice.
That I shall. So for my first pick, I decided to go with the physical challenge breakfast in bed / banana split. And the reason why it's like a slash is because both of them essentially work the same way, where you have a contestant in a contraption, either like a banana or like the bed with like the leopard print comforter and all that good stuff. And the other teammates have to push the bed like across a couple of different stations. And for the breakfast in bed one, it featured like having French toast dumped onto the person on the bed, then syrup, then orange juice type gack. And then finally at the very end, if they made it to the end, there's like this tank like on like some weird red piping stilts that they had to pull a lever on and then just dump tons of massive butter like topping on them. And I just remember seeing some contestants like totally covered with that, trying to get back to like their question panel after it and just laughing their head off. So
you're going way back, right, Mark?
Yeah.
There was one of those shows, which I think maybe Jasmin may have just put this up, where it went off the stage and people were trying to, wasn't that you, Jasmin, who threw that just back on there?
Yeah.
And people online are saying, we should have stopped and gone back and done it again. It's just like, we were flying by the seat of our pants half the time there, but we were just having fun. If you went to Robin and asked her, I'm going to say that we're going to come up with the same one where we had the messiest day ever, and I'm gonna go to Robin. Tell him which day you thought was the messiest day we ever did on Double Dare.
The day that I slimed you during the obstacle course. So Mark, this is a great story. That was my pick too. So this is a great story. So Mark, none of us really like to get that messy after doing it for so long, right? Because what people don't know is we had to take 5 showers a day because we had to do another show. But I don't know, we just got giddy during that obstacle course, and every obstacle I would throw slime in his hair and whipped cream, and then we go to the next obstacle and I'd slam a pie in his face. And all I remember saying at the end of that was, "This will be my last day working for Nickelodeon. I'd like to thank you all." But Mark's hair was up in a mohawk.
Oh my!
And the funny part was the show's about for the kids for the obstacle course. These kids were looking at Mark and I like, what are you people doing? Right, Mark?
We started doing 4 shows a day, then we did 5 shows a day, and then we were up to 6 shows a day. Woo. And you get to a Thursday and you're at show 24. And you just kind of lose it. You have no idea what planet you're on. How many upfront games have we done? How many more obstacle courses do we have to do? And Robin's right. We just lost it. Well, was that in Orlando that happened? It may have been.
I don't remember. All I remember was it didn't stop when the cameras went off. We were throwing each other in baps of whipped cream and chucking. Remember that thing where the water? What was the water tank? We went head first into that water thing. Yeah, I mean, it was disgusting, and we had so much fun.
It was disgusting, and we did have so much fun.
What people don't remember is when you get the whipped cream in your hair, and you're getting it in your hair all the time, especially me, you smell like old whipped cream all the time, and it's disgusting.
Yeah,
I can't even look at whipped cream today, to this day.
It's getting that stuff out of your hair. And the other thing that Rob and I always talk about is either whipped cream or any sort of milk-like substance, as we used to say, that gets up your nose, starts to smell really sour after about 24 hours. And, literally you have to walk around. I had a cop that lived across the street from me, one of my houses here in LA back in the day. And he used to tell me when they would walk into a house and there would be a dead body there, they would either smoke cigars or put perfume up their nose. And that's what I used to have to do because I couldn't get that sour milk smell out of my nose for days. So
it's so gross. I can't look at whipped cream today.
It's funny because when I attended the Morristown show at for Double Dare Live, and I was chosen to do the musical pies. Now it's funny because I got so much of it that it was from the sitting down after the musical pies, from the remaining of the show, then having to go back home.
Oh yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, it was just like after a while, I'm like, that smell gets to you eventually.
Hey, try getting on a plane. A couple times they didn't have a shower in the arena, and I had to get on a plane to go to another city. Try that. That's disgusting.
Oh,
I always wondered, Jasmine, about that, about the people that we clobbered. You know, Robin and I sometimes go overboard, but then we've got to have our fun too. And, you know, you got to sit there for another hour for the act 2 of the show and then, you know, get in a car, you know, but people seem to want to do it. I can't believe it.
Hey, Mark, remember the woman? Mark and I did a show one time and there was this woman glaring at me and she was wearing a fur coat. Do you remember?
Oh,
and she didn't want to come on stage. She's like, I'm not going on stage. And of course, who do we pick to go on stage?
Her.
And I said, either take their fur coat off, or it's going to get slime, period. End of story. Anyway, remember that?
I do. And we also did one, it was in San Jose, California, where we had a football player, I forget what team he was with,
San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. And it was a leather jacket and we told him to take it off. He didn't. And we trashed it. And he tried to sue us and all sorts of stuff.
Oh boy.
Now, I don't know what people are thinking. If you're going to be in the show, you're going to get clobbered. And
don't come all dressed up. Always
I don't understand
me.
that. When I did Regis back in the day, he got mad because we got whipped cream on his shoes, you know? So I just understand people. And probably the messiest physical challenge we ever did, and it still is one of my favorites, and we did it initially for primetime, was this physical challenge called If I Knew You Were Coming, I'd Have Baked a Cake. And what you had to do is take these layers of cake and put a little whipped cream on them and then pass them over to the second person, third person, fourth person. You had to, I forget, 10 or 12 layers. And then you had to pull on this cord that had a tank behind you. And the tank had like 50 gallons of basically wet.
I love pulling
icy.
that. I love pulling.
It was unbelievable. And it would just get all over the stage. And, you know, you'd be dripping wet for the rest of the time. That was truly, because Dana would take the overhead shot and you could just see all this liquid just, you know, spewing everywhere. That was probably one of the messiest ones we ever did.
Trust me, when I was pied at when I attended the Morristown, I was dedicated to get pie. I was like, I don't care.
Yes, you were. I remember.
I was like, but the thing I kept saying to myself is I did not want to be the first one to lose. I was like, I want to be able to like last a few rounds so I could enjoy the actual game. So once I saw that I wasn't the first one, I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. But then once the 4th round came and the music
that was
stopped,
the part of the road show that everybody loved, musical pies.
Oh,
people want to see mess, period.
Yeah.
They don't want to see clean physical challenges and stuff.
No.
They want to see mess all the time.
And it's
so did Robin go crazy and throw a lot of pies at you, Jasmin?
So what's funny was that I was accused of cheating.
Yep, I remember that.
Accused of cheating, and all I remember was the music had stopped and I was holding the pie, but the girl next to me just took it away from me. And Robin just puts me right on the spot, and she's like, you threw the pie at her. And I'm like, no. Like,
oh no, I didn't know this story. I'm sorry. It's a live show, Jasmin. It's a live show.
But in my head, I'm saying to myself, you know what? Go ahead. I'm ready for it all.
This is your baptism, Jasmin.
Yes. Exactly. So what she basically did was she put almost like she put extra whipped cream on my pie. And then you, Mark, asked me if I wanted to pie myself or have you do it. But I really wanted to say you do it, but I chickened out and I said, no, I'll do it. So I decked myself and I'm there trying to clean it off. But then you called my name. I heard you call my name and I just happened to turn over and you had a pie and you just jacked me right in the face with it. And I was just so happy about it. I was like, oh my God, this is the best moment of my life.
You know, everybody is funny because during musical pies, everybody loves to get pie. I mean, I don't think we had anybody, right, Mark, who got mad at us. I mean, we really went off.
Not
with
that
those
I
pods.
remember. And, the fun part that Robin and I would have when we were doing it is, it's a kid show basically. So we would attack the adults and just clobber them and always try to have, some 7-year-old little cute girl win the game. But it was also cute when the kids would pie the parents or the brothers would pie the sisters.
Right.
I mean, it became like 20, it was supposed to be like a 6 or 7 minute bit. And it often became a 15 or 20 minute bit because it was just a mess and a lot of fun. So
I loved it. I loved every second of it. And the whole show in general was just the best.
Thank you. What other moments do you guys remember?
Jasmin, why don't you go ahead and take the next one?
Okay, so speaking of like our favorite memories of Double Dare, and well, you have to understand that I wasn't even born when Double Dare first aired. So
Don't tell me that.
So I apologize about that, but it was funny because it wasn't until later on that I discovered it. So one of my favorite messy moments is similar to what Brett said. So one of the ones that I like is there were two different kinds. So the one I remember was like you laid down on like a burrito wrap and you would have people dump like the cheese and like the condiments on top of you. Then you would have to roll yourself within the wrap. And then at the end, it's like the person will pull the bucket and you have all this gack pour on you.
Yeah, you'd have to roll them to the other side of the stage, and we'd either have like red sauce or a green guacamole-esque kind of thing. And that was just great entertainment for me. I love watching that.
And the other similar one, which was exactly the same, but like a different scenery, was there was the one episode I remember where it was like a dirty carpet and they would put like soap on you and you would have to roll yourself, and then once you to the other side of the stage, then you pull the bucket and it's like water. It's like basically.
I don't know if I remember that one, right?
I don't either. I don't remember that one either.
I saw the clip. I actually saw the clip again about 2 days ago, and I was like, I would share it. I'm gonna share it. So
that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll share it.
I know that they run these things on Paramount Plus. There's like 300 episodes of Double Dare on there. I'm surprised they haven't put What Would You Do on, because a lot of people love that show as much.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the one I'm like praying each day. I'm like, please,
yeah.
What Would You Do on?
Who knows? It's crazy. Man. Yeah, so Robin and I had a lot of fun getting paid to basically throw green liquids at grown-ups.
Exactly.
11-year-olds.
It's hard to explain when people say, "What do you do?" I throw
you make a mess.
What do you do?
One of the ones that was my favorite game, and I'm horrible with the names of the games, but it was essentially a clear plastic cup on the end of a stick, and the kids would hold it into their mouths.
Oh yeah.
And then their teammate would have to spray whipped cream, but the person with the cup in their mouth had to tilt downward. Otherwise, it would just hit the side of the cup, and they would have to, like so many other physical challenges, fill up the cup to the designated line. And their aim was often off and would just either get completely on the floor or completely cover their face. It was
that was from season 1. That was one of the very first physical challenges we ever did.
That was
you have to remember when we first started, you started with very little, like throwing a marshmallow in a cup or the whipped cream in a cup, and by the end you're doing pick it.
Brett, what is another choice that you had, my dude?
It's the Sunday slide obstacle. I love ice cream. I love slides. That was like the first thing I always wanted to go to whenever I was near a park with like a playscape on it. I'd always want to like go down the corkscrew type one and pretend I was on Double Dare and like just lunge out face first Superman style into like a big pile of sand that resembled the ice cream. I just love that one. It just combines two of my favorite things together, slides and dessert. And just seeing the different ways that people like go down and the different types of toppings that they would put at the bottom was just a blast to see.
The stuff at the bottom was from remember, Mark, that started with the crew in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They were so artistic. They would,
really?
Right?
Yeah, very creative.
They were amazing. It started with whipped cream, and then all of a sudden it became this artistic masterpieces at the end of the Sunday slide.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just say that in the nicest possible way that the Philadelphia crew was fantastic. But back in the day, they were dabbling in some substances that perhaps they shouldn't have been dabbling in. And so some of
That's
those,
a whole other show, guys.
Director's
some
cut.
of those psychedelic creations that happened at the bottom of a Sunday slide maybe happened because they didn't remember what planet they were on at that particular time. It made it fun for us, trust me.
Definitely. And I also love seeing like the people climb up the slanted like ladder thing that leads up to the corkscrew of the slide, because it was like covered in Hershey syrup. So like they would slide down and slip and slide when they're trying to climb up. And occasionally there's like a message written in there from someone on the stage crew as like a little nod to someone else. So, it just added a lot of charm to the obstacle course, and it stuck out in my mind more than anything.
That was one of the most popular ones on the road show too. Whenever they got to the obstacle course, every single person, because I wasn't mic'd at the time, so they would talk to me because I had to show them what to do. And every single one of them said, "Can I do the Sunday slide? Can I do the Sunday slide?" So that really was one of the most popular. And that, right, if I'm not mistaken, Mark, that came with us through every episode. Am I right?
Yeah, pretty much. And, the crew would go out of their way to try and make me laugh. We had this one guy, and I think his name was George, super smart, well-read, brilliant guy. And he dressed up once. He was on top, I think, of I forget which obstacle it was, and he was dressed like a rat. He had nose and ears, and I said, "Oh, look up here! It's George." And he said, "You can't get ratings without RAT." And I just, lost it.
Half the stuff was so silly, but it was so funny to us. We don't even know if anybody else found it funny, right?
We loved it. And we had many people on our staff who, Greg Farnese was a guy who was on, and he would sometimes dress. He pretended to be Frank Sinatra once. He tried to be Alan Funt, and he would do these great impressions. And he would always think that he was going to take charge and pull one over on me, and somehow I would always end up buying him and messing him up in some form or fashion. Alan Silverberg did a character called Al Silvers, and then Gary Delana did a couple of crazy ones as well. So, we allowed everybody to be creative and do whatever they wanted to do. And I think it made it entertaining. And often Robin and I'd be on tour, and the parents would come up to us and say, "We watch every day for that one thing you do for us as well." So that was fun.
Jasmin, what's another one that you thought of, dear?
Okay, so I don't remember if it was on the regular Double Dare or Double Dare 2000, but it was like a giant, it was in the physical, it was in the obstacle course, and it was like a giant blimp that was filled with gack. And
oh my gosh, that was a long time ago. I remember that.
And the kid would just pull the contestant would just pull the string, and a whole bunch of slime would fall, and the flag would be in there somewhere. And I would get so upset when the kids would just avoid the slime. I'm like, no, just stand underneath it. And it's like, but that was probably like my other favorite. It's just, I always loved that blimp, and you just stand underneath it, pull the string, and all that slime fell.
The biggest problem with that one was sometimes the flag wouldn't come down. And so, I just have to tell them to keep moving as they got drenched in some, unknown liquid as always. But that was the thing, nobody took it too seriously, because from time to time things would go wrong. And, often I would take a kid and push them up the Sunday slide or do whatever, because we wanted them to win. And, think about it. Back in the day when we first started singing, we were giving away the first computers that were made, and trips to space camp. Space camp was like a huge influence on kids back in the day. So, it was all about having fun. And the influence that we had, we didn't realize at the time. But when Rob and I did the last tour, which closed right before COVID, so it's been 2 years now, you would think it would be moms and dads and kids, but it was probably 70 or 80% of people who came with their husbands and or wives and wanted to relive their childhood. They were in their early 40s. And often I'd say, "Where are the kids?" And they'd say, "The hell with the kids. We want to have a good time."
Right? The kids are with the babysitter. Right.
Yeah.
They won't appreciate it as much as we do.
That's exactly right. So how old are you guys? I'm trying to figure out. You guys look so young.
Well, I'm 33.
So How do you even know about the show? That's crazy.
I am 36.
36.
And,
so like you're the same age as the show, basically.
Essentially. I grew up with the show. My brother is 8 years older than I am, and he watched it, and I watched it alongside him. And then he just drifted away from watching TV, and I kept watching Double Dare, and then What Would You came on, and then I got watching that as well. When What Would You Do felt like my show, because my brother introduced me to this one. But and Nickelodeon did a lot of reruns, especially for Double Dare, and I watched a lot of those too. And I think Brett is in a very similar situation.
Yeah, I actually picked up the show on reruns. I first saw it through Family Double Dare because I was like a few years old at the time, and I just really loved the idea of like all the mess. And I tried to convince my entire family to get on the show back when I was like 7 or 8, and I didn't even understand the concept of reruns back then. So by the time I was old enough to get them down to Orlando, Florida, the show had already closed down. And so I just kind of started with Family Double Dare and then worked my way back when I caught like older episodes played here and there, like Double Dare Super Sloppy. And then I got back into it briefly with Double Dare 2000, and then saw a glimpse of it for the 2018 reboot. And then I actually ended up seeing Nickelodeon Game Lab, which I think was tied to it. I'm not sure, around 1996. My dad took me to a live show at the Hartford Civic Center in Connecticut because I was living there at the time. And I just remember having just lots of wonderful feelings and memories tied to getting slimed and, wanting my family to be a part of it.
Were Robert and I hosting that show at Hartford?
I think you were. Yeah. And there's another character there. I forgot what they look like. It was like a bunch of assistants were helping you, and they were like dressed up in costume. But that's what I remember.
I don't remember that.
Robert and I were on the road for so many years. Initially, we started playing malls, and then from malls, we went to the big arenas. We were selling out the Palace of Auburn Hills, like 20,000 people twice in a weekend, and we were like being rock stars for kids. It was so much fun, but it got tough doing that show and getting in though we were flying a lot back then. On this last one we did, we were in a bus driving, all hours of the night through rain and snow and all sorts of horrible things. And when Robert and I were mere children, it was a lot easier. But as we've gotten older, the stress has been pretty intense. So, I think with COVID now, and although it's supposedly over, but I don't think it is, the odds of us ever going out on the road again are slim and none. So if you haven't been part of it by now, chances are you're not going to be part of it with me and Robert.
COVID really did a number on the show because we're a very interactive show. Yeah. Everybody's always touching each other, and there's slime and there's pie and there's, hands on each other. And so
that's backstage, but hey.
That's a whole nother show.
Or maybe that's What Would You Do? Who knows?
Don't let Mark and I go off script. It gets really ugly. Yeah.
Go for it.
That's our bonus material for patrons.
Yeah. No, it's going along with what you had said earlier about it's having adults in their 40s going to the live shows. I really want to express gratitude that Mark was in the 2018 reboot, filling in as Harvey, essentially. Because I loved it. And when I found out it was coming back, I was excited. And then I found out that Mark wasn't going to be hosting it. I was like, oh man. But then I found out Mark was going to be in it. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then I got to introduce my son to it, and he loved the show. And we never missed an episode. And Double Dare became a gateway for my son to get into other Nickelodeon shows, much like early 90s kids. It put Nickelodeon on the map. So
that's good to hear. Sadly, we still had good ratings, and they pulled the plug on us way too soon. But it was a fun experience. I think they changed it in ways they didn't need to change it. They tried to make it too slick.
They changed it. Mark should have still been the host. That's how.
I'll say one thing.
I can say that now.
Well, one day Liza couldn't do it because she lost her voice, and they walked up to me and said, "Can you fill in?" And I said, "Sure." They said, "Well, how much time do you need to rehearse?" And I said, "None." And they said, "Why?" And I said, "I've been doing this my whole life." And the day I did it, the ratings went up 25%. So,
oh gosh.
You would have thought that somebody would have figured that out, but
you don't mess with what works. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Don't mess with it.
So going back real quick to the Double Dare Live being majority of adults.
Mm-hmm.
One of my followers actually sent me a video a while back, and I had no idea. It was, I think, Double Dare took over the Jerry Springer show.
Oh, when Jerry, I've known Jerry for years. When Jerry was first doing the show out of Cincinnati, and they wanted him to be like Phil Donahue, and he was trying to be real serious. Bert Dubrow, who was exec producer and one of my dearest friends for 50 years, had me come on. And yeah, we did physical challenges, and we got a Springer pied at the end, and that was probably 20 some years ago now. We did that.
Yeah.
Did you guys, Jasmin? Did you ever see Mark when he was on? What show was it, Mark? Where you and Burt Reynolds got into it?
Oh, on the Tonight Show. Yeah.
You guys remember that? That was one of the messiest moments. There you go.
I was gonna comment on that one. Go ahead.
I tell you. But one of the most bizarre things was this, it's going to be 3 weeks ago this Saturday, when on Saturday Night Live, they actually did me.
Yes.
Alex Moffat, played me. And when the lower third came up and it said Mark Summers, it's like, okay, this is really weird. Yeah. And so you realize, the place that the program had in history that, and by the way, they've done me twice in the last month. So somebody's got a Jones for Nickelodeon or Double Dare or me.
Maybe you should host it, Mark. Maybe you should.
Yeah, somebody said they wanted to start a campaign like they did for Betty White. I said, yeah, good luck on that. That's probably not going to happen. I sent Alex Moffat FedExed him a letter and a picture and stuff. He never responded, but it was fun. It was an honor to be, presented such as that. So that was nice.
Yeah.
Well, going along with some of the messy moments, both of you had actually picked one of the ones that I was thinking of, because that was just hilarious of Robin just messing with Mark during the obstacle course. So since I don't have anything else to add on that, and it's not necessarily a messy moment, but it is one of my favorite moments. Mark, would you be willing to share the story about the little motorized boat?
Don't go away. Don't go away. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Does that have to do with him being pushed into that like swamp obstacle course?
Mm-mm.
Oh, different one.
No, this one was iconic. This one was so ridiculous when it happened, but everybody laughed. I mean,
this one I don't remember at all.
It took on a life of its own.
It did.
It really did. I don't know what he's going to bring back, and I'm scared, but it might be. Alex already knows, right, Alex?
Yes. Should I draw a bath for this?
We were once again, we were doing this in New York. It's I think one of the first Super Sloppies, and once again we had shot 180 episodes in 2 days. And Jeffrey Darby, who was our exec producer and one of the creators of the show, just had this little man, and for whatever reason, after every obstacle, it just cracked me up when I saw it. It just made me laugh, and when he saw it, made me laugh. I'd say, Harvey, if they do this, what do they win? And he'd say, whatever it is, a phone, a clarinet or something. And then he would pick up this guy and put him on the next obstacle. Well, as it grew, I couldn't even talk. I couldn't catch my breath because there was Jeffrey Darby running, putting this guy. So luckily, I retained this. This thing is, I don't know.
Mark, you scare me. You scare me.
Well, it's interesting what I found recently. This guy has popped up. But I have stuff in storage that I've had because I, grew up in Indiana. Then I moved to Boston, and I don't know how many times I've moved in Los Angeles. But I also lived in Philadelphia, and I have lived in New York. I've lived all over, and so I've had these storage bins that I've kept for years. And I just started to go through them, and it's fascinating what I've discovered. All the merchandise that Double Dare ever had, I own a piece of, and so I found Double Dare suspenders. Double Dare handheld video games, Double Dare sheets. I mean, it's just insane the amount of merchandise that we had, and it's all sitting there. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I've been approached about raising money via an auction. There's a new game show museum that's opening somewhere in New York. So I'm not sure what I want. It's fascinating. When I was a kid, I would always go through my parents' and grandparents' basements and find stuff and think everything was a treasure. But the generation of my kids, and I think Robin's kids, they don't care about that stuff. And, I own all this stuff that's somehow nostalgic and would make a lot of people crazy, but my kids could care less. So I'm either going to, sell it for charity and raise some money or give it to this museum. But I retain so many memories from that program that who knew that there were Double Dare sheets? I totally forgot about it,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's
and they're in great
amazing.
shape.
Yeah.
I've got them in a box and they've never been opened kind of situation. And, Double Dare pencils and green slime shampoo and shoelaces. And it's just insane what I retain. But I think this is probably my most prized possession. I do.
Gotta love it for the memories.
We don't get out much, guys, anymore, as you can see.
Well, because I'm very much an archivist, so I've always been on the hunt for any content that I could find to save and try to reserve as much of the network as a whole. And this is well before Paramount Plus became a thing. And I found the video of Mark completely losing his mind over this little rowboat.
Oh, there's about 900 videos of Mark losing his mind.
Oh yeah, yes. But I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And then I read the book Slimed. Now, by this point, the book had been out for a while, but I just now got around to reading it. And Mark had shared the story in this oral history book, and I was, oh man, he talked about it in this too, and I had to go back and watch it again. So if any of you we call our listeners slimesters and gackoids had read the book, check the video out. Actually, you know what, no, we're just going to put it right here in the video.
Tank is coming up, and that's obstacle number 2. And once you pass that flag, we're going to come all the way over here, and it looks like, oh, look at this. We have a little person here who's rowing, trying to get through these little monster islands there. Look at him. And look, if you turn around, he's got a little Double Dare thing on there, and it is Double Dare, so let's just put him right down there. Help me! There he goes, slowly but surely. And he doesn't want to sink. He's trying to get out. Well, there he goes. To heck with him. Anyway, dive in there. Help me! He's bobbing up and down. Grab the flag, pass it, and win this. It's obstacle number 4. Here he is again, folks. Trying to get out. Dive through, grab the flag, and win this.
Are you all right, Mark?
Okay. Well, we're on the blue plate special. It's number 6. You've got to find the flag somewhere underneath that sauce. Oh, this poor guy's slow. Okay, obstacle number 8. Let's come over here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll find behind curtain number 1, we have Carol Merrill. All right, right over there. That's Manny back there. Okay, come up here on this particular... There's a guy with the boat. Get across, grab the flag, do it in 60 seconds or less.
It was fun. We had fun with all that stuff. And it was interesting. I had lunch today with Geraldine Laybourne, who was the president and made Nick what it was back in the day. Yes. And I was telling her about these things that I discovered. And she said to me, do you have any of the toilet paper? And I said, I don't remember. And she said she spent $17,000 on Nickelodeon toilet paper because she felt if a kid came to the Nick Studios, they should be able to walk away with something and people would steal rolls of Nickelodeon toilet paper. And I said, gosh, somehow I never went in those bathrooms. I didn't know that existed. But just imagine to be able to wipe myself with Nickelodeon paper. Boy, that was...
geez. As you can see, we're the classiest duo that has come to TV, Mark and I. They call us the classy duo.
I had just shared about the Nick toilet paper not that long ago.
Really?
And I had somebody in the comments section say that he still had a roll. And somebody else that he knew had a roll. So
it's gotta be worth a fortune at this point. That's hysterical.
I said, this is more gold than 2020 toilet paper.
Right. I was just going to make a joke about that. Like, it's a good thing no one ripped that to shreds because that's a piece of history right there.
Yeah. Honest to God, man. That's crazy. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun. Hey, guys, unfortunately, I got to go. I got to get to a dinner, but I appreciate your time and thank you for inviting me on this. And keep the conversation going. You don't need me, but appreciate your fandom throughout the years. And I'm applauding a great job you did tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. We're very grateful to have you here.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Oh, that sound means it's the end of round 1.
All right. Well, Brett, go ahead and you got at least one more, I think, right?
Yep. One more and an honorable mention, but I can kind of combine them if you want.
Don't matter. Go ahead.
So my next messiest obstacle or physical challenge is the sushi one. I just remember vividly seeing that and just being like these huge tubes that they had to crawl through, and it was often near the end of the obstacle course. And I don't know what exactly they were filled with. I guess it was like fish and some sort of like egg type looking gack, but I just remember like people belly flopping into that and just swimming and struggling and just trying to get their way through to get the last flag of the challenge. And that really stuck out in my mind. Just like, man, what would it be like to go through that and like wade through all that slime and gack to get through that obstacle? Like it just looked very fun, but also terrifying at the same time because of how enclosed the tube part of the sushi was.
We had a guy, Byron Taylor, who used to make all those obstacles and do all that. And it was amazing what he'd come out with. I mean, all of a sudden he'd come out with the sushi roll or the sushi or the Chinese, fortune cookie, and you had to go in there. So it was amazing. So you guys are bringing back up some old ones though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we go back classic. A lot of the reruns that I got these from are like super sloppy era, just because of how messier they were than like regular Double Dare.
Yeah.
So that's my next pick. And then just to shove it in real quick, my honorable mention, of course, is Pick-It, because come on, how could you not mention that? It's like the most iconic. It's my
favorite. I think it's hysterical. It's disgusting and it's hysterical.
Who would have Pick-It? Check this out.
Yeah, Jasmine's wearing a shirt of it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like how
I still think that's the number one one that anywhere we went, it was either the Sunday Slide or Pick-It.
Yeah,
people wanted to do.
What is so appealing about shoving like your fist up to arm length into a giant sculpted nose full of boogers to get a flag?
Because it's disgusting. Yes. People thought, oh God, when we were doing the road show, grown men used to say to me, I'm doing Pick-It. I want to do obstacle number 3. I'm doing Pick-It. I mean, I don't know. It was like, and not only that, Alex, we talked about this when we talked. We have a guy who took the nose and he made it into a bar in his house.
Yep.
Oh my.
Yeah. CJ, mom's name. Yeah. He took I'm like, okay, if that's what you want in your house as your bar, take the Pick-It nose. Go ahead.
Yeah, CJ, he was on the set. He worked on the set, did he not?
Yeah. I think yes, he came numerous times, like Jasmin. He's one of the super fans. That's great. And but those are the 2 obstacles that everybody talked about: Pick-It and the Sunday Slide.
They even made enamel pin of it and like a tissue dispenser that you can clip on from the Nick box too. So it just goes to show you that that's one of the most memorable pieces.
They really missed a golden opportunity to have it be a soap dispenser.
Exactly. Yeah, good idea, Alex. You do that. You take that. You go for it.
Make sure
with the slime shampoo coming out.
Right. Exactly.
Make sure the soap is green too.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Jasmin, how about you, dear?
Well, Brett already took it away.
You're wearing it.
So the only one, okay, so I'm just gonna go with the one that there's 2 of them, so I'm just gonna put 2 of them. It had to be the Wrangler, and there was one called the Soda Jerk, which it was just something about the Soda Jerk. You just step on those stomps and just soda just came pouring out.
Yeah.
That was also one of my favorite ones that I remember very clearly.
When I was a kid watching Family Double Dare and I watched Soda Jerk, I noted that like each of the different flavors were like, they look tasty. I think it's orange, grape, and root beer or something like that, or cola. And I just imagining myself, like, instead of working to get the flag, I would just stomp on one and like open my mouth to see if I could get a good swig of it before moving on.
Yeah, that was a popular one too.
Yeah.
That's me at every fountain drink.
Exactly.
Got them all? Good. Now we're moving on. What about you, Alex?
90s surge underneath the fountain drink.
Perfect.
For me, ironically, Pick-It was one of the more infuriating ones to me because they always got stuck on it, and I didn't want them to get stuck. I wanted them to keep going. So I was like, "Oh man, Pick-It, okay, you're dead in the water." And another one that very much was often get them dead in the water, but I still found very messy was the giant pancake.
Like Blue Plate Special, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes that was
that was hard on the road too. When we did that on the road show too recently, and people got stuck there because they'd flip the pancake and they'd flip the flag with the pancake.
Yep.
So we always used to have to say, go, you're flipping pancakes, but the flag's over there. Yeah. Yeah.
And my honorable mention, and again, I don't know the names of these things at the time, but it was the giant hot dog where they would get into it and then they have to push the ketchup and then push the mustard. And then I'm assuming it was the relish. Then it'd just be this gack and slime that would pour out of it. And then they move on to the next. Just quick and simple.
Sounds like it'd go well with soda jerk. You know, you get your drink, you get your giant hot dog, and you just have a blast in the little swamp with the raft, and on your way you go to a picnic, Double Dare style.
So I gotta ask this question because a lot of my followers ask it, and I don't have the question. I don't have the answer. I wish I could have asked Mark when he was there, but when he was on. But maybe Robin knows. I've had a lot of my followers when we talk Double Dare. Half of them always wondered what was behind the podium where Mark stand. Like, was it just a solid wall, or was it like shelves where you keep stuff in?
It was hollow. It had shelves, so he would keep his cards there and his water.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of my followers would.
And he would also keep a can of whipped cream down there in case he needed to buy somebody.
Lunch break.
It's true.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's the truth.
Actually awesome, but that's awesome. That's funny.
Cool.
That's the first time anybody's ever asked us that question, Jasmin.
Yeah, because it just popped up because I'm saying to myself, I've had, a lot of my followers, we share a lot of memories of Double Dare and what would you do? But then it's like 3 of my followers, when we would talk Double Dare, they're like, you know what? I'm like, what's up? I'm like, what? They're like, what's on the other side of the podium? I'm like, I didn't even know.
What's behind door number 2?
Exactly.
Speaking of the podium, wasn't there like a mailbox at one point in like the earlier Double Dare iterations? What was that about? Did it had something to do with like viewer mail or something?
I don't remember. I remember the mailbox. I remember it perfectly. I think I don't remember.
I just saw an episode like that.
Yeah.
I just saw an episode. It was like a mailbox, and from what I remember is they'll pull out like a postcard, and if the contestants could either pass the physical challenge or pass the obstacle course, they'll win a prize. Like they'll mail them a prize. like the postcard from who it was from would win a prize. Oh, interesting. Like a home interaction type thing. I just saw an episode of it today where I saw the mailbox. I'm like, what's that? And so Mark would just pull a postcard, and whoever's name and address is on there, if the kids could pass the physical challenge or obstacle course, then they'll win a prize.
Yeah.
Well, that solves that mystery. Thank you, Jasmin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right then. Well, that's some of our favorite sloppiest moments of Double Dare. We had a lot of laughs reminiscing, and I think before we're going to close, we'll just do a segment that we like to call Think Fast to Make the Grade, which is trivia based.
Time to think fast to make the grade.
Why don't you read the questions? I'll score keep, and we can have between Jasmin and Robin.
Oh boy.
Okay. That's fair.
I will never go with trivia.
Yeah.
Fan versus employee.
Please, I have no memory of the stuff you guys are talking about. Go ahead.
Well, don't worry, it's not too hard. I know I twisted Jim Jenkins' brain on the previous episode, so I remembered to pull it back a bit.
Okay.
So I'm going to shorten it to, I have 7 questions here, but I'm just going to shorten it to 5 because they escalate in difficulty as you get through it.
Okay.
So question 1, for 1 point, how many obstacles are there on the obstacle course each show?
8.
That is correct, Jasmin. 8.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was 8. Am I supposed to just yell it out? Or okay, 8.
Buzz in, yell, raise your hands, however you want.
Both get a point.
There
Jasmin
okay.
and I are going to work together. 8.
Yeah.
That's a tie.
Teamwork.
Just buzz in or raise your hand for the next ones.
Okay.
But buzz in.
Yeah. Question 2 for 1 point. Who is the announcer who engages in witty banter with Mark and is known for addressing the intro, the outro, and the prizes
Harvey.
of Double Dare?
Harvey.
You got it.
Jasmin, we're going to play together. Just let's go. Okay.
Okay, 2 points then. I have a bonus here, actually. What other Nickelodeon game show did Harvey announce for during Super Sloppy Double Dare?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it Guts?
Nope.
Was it What Would You Do?
Nope.
It was well before those.
Oh, if it's well before those, I won't know.
Wow. Um,
I'm just gonna guess.
I have no idea.
Get the picture?
Nope.
Good
It
guess.
is- It is actually Finders Keepers, which actually had similar
okay.
music to it too.
I would
and
have been here for 12 years figuring that
It's
out.
okay.
So you
Nope.
guys know that.
And
barely.
And the
Bar-
funny thing is, I had shared a commercial of that several weeks ago, and Mark had seen it, and Mark was in the commercial from where they had talked about hosting duties between, because Mark was like, "What is this show?" And it's Finders Keepers, and Mark had commented that he had absolutely no memory of doing that commercial.
I have no memory of Harvey doing Finders Keepers.
I mean,
And
to
I'm
be
close with him. Yeah.
to be fair, like Finders Keepers, Make the Grade, Think Fast, those are like in a weird pocket type bubble of Nickelodeon where, they're trying really hard to ride the coattails of Double Dare with its successful formula, and they're like trying to tweak it. So it kind of fell in the undercurrent of the mainstream viewership and memory of most of the 90s Nick fans.
Yeah.
But we're actually going to cover those shows later this season to kind of jog people's memories of it.
That's great.
Result.
So far, Robin at 2 and Jasmine at 1.
All right. Question
Don't worry,
3.
Jasmine. We're doing it together. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Question 3, 2 points. What was the starting dollar amount for a question in the original Double Dare and Super Sloppy Double Dare? And what did the amount change to for Family Double Dare and Double Dare 2000?
Start with what was the original dollar amount?
Was it 10? $10?
It was 10.
Yeah, I would have been wrong.
And then what did
What
it change to for Family Double Dare and Double Dare 2000? It was the
all
same
I
amount for those two.
all I remember is 25.
You got it.
All
2
right.
points.
Yeah, I would have said 25 too. I mean, Jasmine, I was on the set a little more than you, so I probably have an advantage. But yeah.
Yeah.
I actually knew both of those, so I'm happy with
Like I
myself.
said, I started watching Double Dare late, so my memory
Okay.
needs to
Yeah.
recuperate.
25 is right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, I'm actually kind of curious, like how high the dollar amount went on the scoreboard, because I feel like so many people are doing so many physical challenges that it never rose maybe above 400 or 500.
Yeah, that's about right. It never got really because, maybe 500-600.
Okay.
the
Yeah.
highest.
I thought if they earned enough money, they would like break the scoreboard, or especially for the old Double Dare one.
we didn't have that. I don't remember that.
Okay, cool. Are we at, question 4. Before changing to red and blue and a rounded rectangle shape, what were the team colors and the shape of the team scoreboard in the original Double Dare?
Weren't they both red? Weren't
Yep.
both teams both red?
Yep.
And I don't know the scoreboard. Was the scoreboard? What are you saying?
What was the shape in the original Double Dare of the scoreboard, and then what did it change to for like Family Double Dare?
Was it a rectangle that went to a square?
It was a triangle that went to a rounded
yeah.
rectangle.
Okay, I didn't.
Yep.
Huh.
The triangle I remember, but I was
Yeah.
just like,
It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll give you half for that. Question 5. What special element was added to the physical challenge in Double Dare 2000 not present in any other Double Dare iteration? Also name one thing that it did to change the challenge.
the triple dare.
I have no idea.
The triple dare.
She got it.
I don't even know if I ever saw Double Dare 2000.
The triple dare. And what
Okay.
it was,
Good one, Jasmine.
what the triple dare was, like, for example, like it would either make the physical challenge a bit more difficult or easier, because I've seen different things, like, for example, like the game where you got to catch the pizzas in the box, make them. And so, for example, if you chose the triple dare, sometimes they'll give you extra time to do it, or then sometimes they'll cut off time to make it more difficult, or then sometimes what they'll do is instead of catching 5 pizzas, you probably had to catch 7. So the thing with the triple dare is it either gave you the opportunity to, it either made the physical challenge a bit more difficult or easier to do.
That's great.
And if
Sounds
they
like a great idea. I just don't remember it.
No
yeah,
worries.
and I forgot also, yes, if they were to complete it, they'll get like a special prize for that.
either that or additional $100 added to their score. Yeah.
Yeah. That I remember without a doubt.
I don't know if I should mention these next two because they're really obscure. I'll let you make the call
You could
outs.
do it.
Okay.
Let's do one more. Since it's
Okay.
getting late.
Yeah, do the true or false one.
Okay. So last question for 3 points, true or false. A Double Dare video game was released in 1988 for the Commodore 64 and was later ported to the SNES in 1990 and features Mark Summers as host in-game.
True or false?
True.
Actually, it was a trick. It's false. It was actually ported to the NES, not the SNES. And the host is an original character for the game with no resemblance to Mark whatsoever, because they didn't have the rights to use his image in it. Yeah, there you go. Fun little Double Dare trailer for you.
You guys did a great job tonight. And I thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
For the record, for our winner of Think Fast to Make the Grade, the final score was Robin with 4 and Jasmin with 6.
Good job, Jasmin.
Congratulations.
Way to go.
Jasmin took it away with the triple dare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Awesome.
moment he
That's great.
the moment he said it, I was like,
Our super fan.
That's a triple dare without a
Our
doubt.
young super fan.
She knows it all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Robin, so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Alex, this is 2 times for us, huh?
It is.
It's great. And Brett, thank you so much. And Jasmin, it was so nice to see you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you too.
All right. Let me know how the finished outcome comes, okay?
Will do.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take care, Robin.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that sound means it's the end of the game.
Well, we had a lot of fun. We got very messy with all the memories that we remembered from Double Dare. So we want to ask you our closing question of the day. What are some of the messiest moments for you that you remember from Double Dare? Was it the physical challenges, the obstacle courses, or something random in between, such as like messages written in the Sunday slide or Mark with that little boat? let us know at splatattack2021@gmail.com to get your answers read in a future Mona's Mailbag segment. You could also check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/splatattack, where we have multiple tiers that would fit your budget. We have everything ranging from behind the scenes content, shout outs, live streams that happen monthly exclusively on there, and of course, bonus episodes. We currently have one up there for favorite 90s romantic moments, and we got a second one in the pipeline for our second Are You Afraid of the Dark versus Goosebumps versus. So if you want to check those out, head on over and become a patron today. And don't forget to also buy some shirts and mugs at our Bonfire page. We're both wearing these shirts from there. They're classic tees. They fit great. They look great. Show your 90s nostalgia love for Splat Attack so we can keep the community going. You can head on over to bonfire.com/store/Splat Attack store to find all of our merch. And if there's something there that you want to see that isn't there, just let us know. Other than that, you can interact with us on Instagram or on our YouTube channel at Splat Attack Podcast. You can also leave us a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or any other podcast platform that you listen to, really. Just help us get seen in the 90s nostalgia community, especially if you love our content. Other than that, thank you, Jasmin, so much for joining us today to help relive our memories with both Mark and Robin. It's truly been a pleasure to have you on the podcast again.
Yes.
It's always an honor. And like I said, feel free if you ever want me again in the future, just message me, contact me. It's always an honor and I appreciate it.
Definitely. Well, with that being said, tune in next time as we sneak aboard the Krista and head into deep space as we rediscover some of our fondest memories of Space Cases with both the cast and a super fan of the show in Going Galactic with Space Cases, a retrospective.
Space Cases!
Yeah, that show from 1996. Don't worry, it exists, I assure you. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be very similar to our Are You Afraid of the Dark anniversary from episode 7. So, be there for that. Until then, I've been your Gactastic co-host, Brett.
I've been your sliberific co-host, Alex.
Let's drain the slime tank, turn off the lights at Nickelodeon Studios, and get this gunk out of our ears, arms, and socks. Blah! Splat you later.
Reprise the theme song and roll the credits.
Hard to believe, folks, but it's time to say goodbye.
Nighty-night.
Hey, check us out next time for more adventure and another great legend of the Hidden Temple.
What'll we do till then?
Chill for a couple. We'll be back. You're on, Nick.
And it was time for the superhero to move on. I declare this meeting of the Midnight Society closed.
Bye-bye.
The Sunday Slide. The obstacles that have made Double Dare the biggest mess on TV. Now it's time you met our new obstacles. We call this the Dallas Pipeline. You'll call it disgusting. This one is called Bridging the Gap. You'll call it impossible. And we refer to this as Down the Hatch. Soon you'll know it only as the Gross Out. The new Double Dare obstacles. More goop, more muck, more mess than ever before. Weekdays on Nickelodeon.